Okay.
My name is Edward Joseph Perron. I've lived in the community of Putnam all my life.
How old were you in August of 1955?
I think at the time I was in my late 12. I think I turned 13 right afterward.
Can you describe the day the flood hit? What was the weather like and what were people doing?
Well, before the flood of 55, we had torrential rain for days. I mean, a lot of heavy rain. And I remember going to Bosilic Buick. My dad used to service his cars there, was friends with Leonard, who owned Bosilic Buick. And Eddie Girton had an Esso station attached to the building. He used to buy his gas from him. And while we were there, he noticed that the river was getting high, coming over the falls and back of buildings. And he made a comment to Leonard. He says, what's in that old stone building over there? He says, oh, the Rosenfield brothers have a government contract and they grind magnesium and they store the barrels over there. And he made a comment to Leonard. He says, I'm just going to suggest to you to relocate your cars. And some guy that I know, but I'm not going to name, what the hell do you know about it? He says, I know enough. When magnesium hits water, it explodes. So Leonard took his advice and relocated all his vehicles up on Smith Street in back of the Smith Street School. And he was very appreciative of that.
When did you first realize something serious was happening?
Not long after that, the first barrel exploded. And of course we didn't know what it was. My dad says, yeah, gotta be the magnesium. And thereafter, there were volleys of explosions. I guess when one went off, it exploded another and another and another. And then some of the barrels went down the river. In fact, at nighttime, a lot of the explosions could be seen from Taffville and Norwich. And some of the barrels ended up down in that area. Yeah, it was horrific. And I remember at nighttime, the blast was so bright that when you'd put your hand up to your face to block the view, it looked like an x-ray of your hand because you could see all the bones in your hand. And then the fire department used to go around with searchlights watching the falling debris which was on fire, making sure that no roofs would catch on fire. Oh yeah, it wasn't fun.
What did you see when the water started rising?
I had never seen it that high.
Okay.
It was almost to the point of going to the level of the bridge that was crossing the river.
Wow.
It was extremely forceful.
Nothing. You said nothing happened to your neighborhood. You lived where?
I lived on the corner of Benoit and Smith Street. There was a 6-apartment complex owned by Emery Marion. We called it the Marion Block. 3 stories high. We lived on the 3rd floor on the left side. The owner lived on the right side on the 3rd floor. And basically it had a tapered flat roof. It wasn't flat but tapered.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, when it would explode, could see a lot of flying embers that would be floating down to the ground.
Wow. What do you remember about how the town came together afterwards?
Exceptional. It's amazing. People that you didn't know or associate with all came together. It was like one big family. The mayor at the time was Dempsey, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. I also remember after a duration of time we had military quarantine. Nobody could be out after 10 o'clock at night. Because you had people that would go around and pilfer and steal and whatever they could. The predators came out after dark. And we were limited to this side of the river, the west side of the river, because there was no crossing. And it took weeks before we could get to the other side of the river. Had to go down to Brooklyn, Connecticut, cross the river over there, and then you could go on that side of the river. The torrent of water that jumped the French River went onto the railroad tracks. Thus, you had that torrent of river coming down by the old tech school, Putnam Tech. Mm-hmm. And basically it took down the embankment and the aircraft shop. It was violent. Oh yeah.
Wow. Were people or groups really, what people or groups really stood out helping each other? What do which groups do you remember?
Well, I remember the town first selectman, I think, was Fred Gagnon. Fred Gagnon, he was the first selectman. We had to go to the school, the Smith Street School, and all get typhoid shots. Had a lot of nurses volunteer, a lot of volunteers. The community just came together. Then later on, we had to go and retrieve potable water, because the military brought big tanker trucks, and we'd go in with containers down to the St. Mary's School parking lot and get our portion of water for drinking or cooking, whatever.
Wow.
But in the meantime, I used to collect rainwater from the eave troughs, the rain gutters, and fill buckets and pans and fill the bathtub for washing purposes or whatever, bathing. And I would provide that water for all the residents in that building.
Wow. How did the flood change Putnam in your eyes? You talked about the change of the river.
Yeah. Oh, the river. The river, once it came over the dam by the back of buildings, went under the bridge, then it was another dam, and the river took an abrupt left turn in back of the old button shop, and then it paralleled Main Street, back of the private homes, and followed that portion until you got close to Bridge Street, and it took a hard right, went under the bridge. Well, the force of the river was so prominent that it didn't go to the left, it just made its own way straight down, and it devastated and flooded all the homes that were in back of the police and fire station that are in present time. Those were all private homes at the time. Chapel Street and that area, that all got flooded. As well as Water Street that paralleled the river, and then all the way to Main Street. And then when it got down to Cargill Falls, the water was going over the bridge, not under the bridge. I remember that. You could see that from the upper portion of Church Street. And when it went down in Manahantza Village, it just wiped out all those people. There were a lot of homes down there. And once it got by the train, what the hell, the bridge off of Kennedy, today is Kennedy Drive.
Yeah.
Once it got to that point, again, the water was so strong, instead of taking a left turn after the bridge, went parallel to Park Street, and went down Park Street in back of the homes, and then turned right considerably down by East Putnam, where the river separated, and I don't know if you remember, it used to call Priest Island.
No.
All right, Priest Island was a separation between the two portions of the Quinnebog. It was a place where the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts used to go camping.
Oh, wow.
And there was a walking bridge, like where Danko Road is now.
Yeah.
There was a walking bridge to Priest Island. We used to go over there all the time. But then it merged and continued down toward Danielson.
Yeah.
The river was so strong it made its own paths, and it's where the river is today.
Wow. What do you think people today don't realize about what you went through?
Well, when I grew up, we didn't have much, but we didn't miss anything. If you don't have it, you don't miss it. We didn't have, how would you say, we weren't jealous of others that had. We worked for what we had. We worked hard. We didn't expect anything other than that. If you wanted something, you worked for it.
Right.
This might be a free country, but there's a price to pay for freedom. And today they don't understand that. They think they're entitled. I don't agree with that.
If you could pass along one lesson from that time, what would it be?
Family first. People need help, you help. Didn't matter what color, because our best friends were of black descent. Knew a lot of friends that I went to school and grew up with. We thought were Negro at the time. They called them Negro. They weren't. They were American Indians. They were Narragansett Indians. I only know that today. I wouldn't have treated them any different because they were friends of mine.
Right. Is there any memory from that time, good or bad, that still sticks with you today?
Yeah, like I said, we had to go for typhoid shots. We were young, didn't know what typhoid was, but we ended up getting a typhoid shot at the Smith Street School by the first selectman, Fred Gagnon, and nurses who volunteered and a lot of volunteers. The whole community came together to get flu shots, not flu, but typhoid shots. Then later on, the Army had brought in some tankers for water, and we used to go and collect water from them with whatever we had to portage back home for drinking and cooking. Fortunately, it was in the summer, because we didn't need to provide heat. It wasn't easy, and people had it less than we did.
Anything, last memory that you'd like to share?
Well, not only did the military provide water at the St. Mary's School, but there was another typhoid shot that we had to go to St. Mary's School. The building's no longer there, it got torn down. That's where the chapel is today. But I remember my brother and I, who was younger than I by 3 years, we were big for our age. We didn't realize it, but the typhoid shot they gave us was an adult shot. We both passed out and we were on a gurney, on a canvas cot, side by side. And when we awakened, I said, "What the hell happened?" And they said, "Oh, we gave you an adult dose." I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your memories with us.
You're very welcome. I won't get sued for this, will I?
We'll try not to.
Okay.